Hello everybody, Happy New Year! We are going live again today. And today I've got a fantastic guest for you all. So make sure you stay tuned, keep focused, and just watch out and listen out for some of the things that my friend Lee's going to be saying today, because he's such an amazing guy. He's got an amazing fighting, winning mentality, winner's mindset, because he is a professional boxer. So listen up for some of the tips, the tricks. He's going to talk to us today about how he got knocked down in life through boxing, but then he's going to give you some of the tools as well that you need to get back up in your life as well. So just waiting for Lee to come on. But like I say, definitely stay tuned in today, people, because this is going to be an amazing one. Here he is. He's just coming in now. So people, just hold up. I'm going to try and invite him up. How do I do that? Just bear with me. Lee, request. Here he is. Right, people. Here we go. Yes, Lee. How are we doing, my friend?
Bro, I'm good. I'm good, and I'm ready. I'm ready for 2023. So I'm excited, and thanks for considering me to come onto your live. It's a privilege.
Lee, of course. It's been a long time coming, to be fair, because
Yeah,
yeah, we've known each other a little while now, and obviously, yeah, we follow each other. We comment on each other's stuff. We follow each other's journey, and I've been following your journey, like I say, for a couple of years. And
yeah,
you've got an amazing mindset. And what I just said there, when I was sort of introducing you briefly to the people that are coming on,
yeah,
you're obviously a professional boxer. So there's so many
yeah,
times you must have been beaten down in life, but there's something that you've got in here which told you to keep going, to keep getting back up. So I want you to share that with the people today, Lee. So thank you again so much for coming on, my friend.
yeah. I've been excited to do this actually, and I know you're a big advocate as well about mindset. Something I'm very passionate about. Something that I've carried a long time, and I think it's one of the fundamental topics to life itself.
Like, it's so true. I mean, like, everything begins and really ends in the mind, doesn't it? Like, your perception will shape your reality. So yeah, I'm super excited for this episode today. So if it's good with you,
Fantastic,
Lee, we'll get straight into it, my friend. So the reason why,
brother.
like I say, the reason that I say that I brought you here, Lee, is because again, I've been watching your journey, and I know
Mm,
that you've got
mm.
so many tools that can be used for these people that are coming in now to watch. So what I want to say you to do, Lee, please briefly introduce yourself, who you are, what you do. Talk to us about, say, growing up through your teenage years, going into, say, your 20s. Talk to us about going through your 20s, some of the challenges that you may have faced along the way. And tell us about
Yeah.
what you had to do in order to get you to where you are today. Because like I said, you're obviously a boxer, and there must have been many times in the ring where you thought about giving up. But what was it that kept you going as well? So Lee, go ahead, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, bro. The thing is, boxing's only a small part of my life, and like I said, from the time I was growing up through childhood to now, it's just been a journey, and I've learned to enjoy the journey, and then the present moment takes care of itself. And it's never going to be linear, where you expect to sort of go up on a straight and narrow tide. You are going to have bumps in the road. You are going to have challenges. You are going to have barriers, whether that's in the form of, exams, school, college, relationships, sport, everything else. So you've got to learn to enjoy the process. And I think, like I said, going back, mindset is a fundamental key that you need to upgrade, like we upgrade our iPhone every so often. We need that prompt as if to say, hey, it's time to upgrade the mindset now. And you upgrade your mindset through experiences, through networks of people, and through maybe guides and mentors and everything else. But going back to my childhood initially, I I never I had a vision that I always wanted to be a professional boxer. That was my childhood dream. That's all I really cared about. And I had no idea how to do that, how to get there, but it was just a childhood vision. Anyway, through school, I didn't have any goals to pass my exams or do well at school. I just turned up to school for a bit of fun because it was a little bit of fun. It was enjoyable. We had fun. We played pranks. I enjoyed that. I was a people person. I like to, socialize, and I was a social butterfly. had many acquaintances, and yeah, I enjoyed my time at school in that sense. But what did I achieve at school? Nothing. I left school with nothing because I didn't have a goal. I didn't have intention to take something away from that. But what I learned over time was my vision in my head that I always had. That's what kept me going. And that's why I say, and I reinstate, that having a goal is so powerful and fundamental. No matter where you are in life, how you're starting out, as long as you've got a goal and you're working towards that, it's going to leave you better off, because you're gonna go through a journey, and that journey is going to shape who you are down the line. So I went through school, and then it wasn't until I actually met a mentor of mine who was also my boxing coach, my first boxing coach and mentor, Brendan Ingle, MBE, and I always like to air Brendan's name, God bless him. You know, he taught me a lot about life. He made sure I learned a lot about myself, and that's what boxing's really given me. And from the age of sort of 16, I had my first experience of moving out of my family home and live with other boxers, and that sort of environment sort of shaped me. And I started going to college, got the grace to go to university. And before I knew it, it was like coming to the back end of university. I was boxing simultaneously, and it all sort of happened and clicked into place in that sort of sense, where now I'm here, I've built all the foundation, and it's more or less, well, I go out and do what I want and make something for the next part of my life and my next projects, which I'm very excited about. So, like I said, I think the fundamental thing here is having a goal, learning through your experiences, and always looking to upgrade your mindset.
Wow, man. Thank you so much, Lee. And every single thing that you mentioned there, I totally agree with every single thing that you just said, because the mindset is so, so important. Like, I got a quote, and it says, "You'll never achieve Maserati dreams with a Mazda mindset." Like, you need to upgrade the mind. Like, if you want a faster car, you need to upgrade it, or you get a new one, you get a faster one. Same with your mind. You can't, what got you here will never get you there. You can't go to where you want to go using the same mindset. If you want to unravel a problem or figure out a problem in your life, you can't figure out the problem with the mindset that got you the problem in the first place. So it's constantly upgrading your mind. And then you mentioned, Lee, about the power of having, say, a goal, a vision. Because if you don't know where you're going in life, any road will get you there. And we talk about this so often on these lives, you know, we just talk about it so often about having goals, having a vision, having somewhere to go. Because if you think about it, every single thing that has ever been created has been created twice. That's once in the mind and once in reality.
Exactly that. And just going back to what you said about having the goal, a lot of the time, I'll tell you where people tend to make mistakes with goals and wanting to go out and do things. If you have a goal and in your mind, you're telling yourself you'll never achieve anything, you are literally not going to be able to rise above the opinion of yourself. So no matter who comes on board, who tries to help you, who tries to push you forward, if you don't rise above the opinion of yourself, then you'll never get there. You'll never get anywhere, because your opinion of yourself is what truly matters. So that's definitely something anyone can take on board. And not only that, your identity is going to shape who you are, because when you have an identity, your thoughts then curate your actions curate your daily habits that everybody likes to say, oh, you need to get better habits. It's no good trying to forge a better habit if your identity is totally different. If, for example, if you're a smoker and you're saying, I've given up smoking, and you're identifying yourself as a non-smoker, you're still identifying yourself as a smoker. So you're never going to break out of that realm. So your identity shift is paramount to getting you where you need to be as well. So your identity and who you are and what you, if you start the words with, I am a professional boxer, I am an entrepreneur, I am a world-class student, etc., etc. You have to curate your identity first.
Man, I love this because I've literally done a live on this when I was away, and I've just been editing over the last few days the videos, and I listened back to the exact one that I done, and it's so true. Like about the self belief and the picture. Like we all have a picture, whether we know it or not. We have a picture of ourselves in our
Mm.
minds. So just imagine if I said to you, Lee, take a pen and paper. You don't have to be the best drawer in the world. Draw yourself. Draw your life. You could draw out exactly how you see yourself in here. So if you see yourself with a Ferrari, for instance, and a mansion, if that's how you see yourself, that's what you'll draw. But if you don't believe that you can have that, obviously you're not going to draw that as well. Or even better, you could ask a professional artist, right, draw what I'm about to tell you, how you say that you live your life. And they could draw it out exactly. So if you don't see yourself having these things or owning these things in the future or having the ability to go on to gain these things in your life, you're never going to achieve them, you know, because the moment that you doubt you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it. Because they all say, if you think you can or think you can't, you're usually right. But, you know, you're always right because it's so, so true about the identity that you have about yourself.
It is. And I think people underestimate how powerful their thoughts really are. And like I said, I'm the perfect example. At school, I had no other thought of anything. So I left school with nothing. On the other hand, I ended up falling into boxing, which was my original vision. So the thought somehow curated actions, and sort of the universe just sort of brought everything and aligned everything together. And then before you knew it, you was there. So I think if you have a goal, like I said, you have certain thoughts, hold on to them and sort of curate them in your own mind every single day. And it's the outside world that sometimes shape how you want to think. And just going back to when you mentioned the artist, when an artist draws a picture and shows it to different people are going to see different things. Not everyone is going to see what you see. Everybody has a different perception. Everybody has a different perception of success. Everybody has a different perception of their journey in life. So that's why it's so important not to go out and compare yourself to someone who's not living your life, living their truth, or living how you want to live. So I think, across the board, again, going back to starting out with a goal, and I actually mentioned this on a story the other day, going into 2023. I said, if there's anything you can take into 2023, take a goal. And I know I keep reiterating this because it's so important. And then I had a few people reach out to me, and I just want to get a bit of clarity on this. People said, well, Lee, what if you haven't got a goal? I said, okay, the next best thing if you don't have a goal is figure out how you can help other people reach their goal, because that's going to give you a lot of value. It's going to add value to your life anyway. You're going to become a person of value, all right? And when you become a person of value, you attract opportunities. And it's like the old saying, a lot of people go out and say, no, sit in front of a fire and say, give me the heat and then I'll go and collect wood. It's not how it works. First, you've got to go out and collect the wood, then you get the heat. Go out and create value. The byproduct of that will be the heat. So I think when you get those fundamentals in place, you can then go on your endeavor, and just like you did, Ryan, and I respect you for just getting on a plane and going away and taking that with you and being so spontaneous and just synchronizing with the universe and synchronizing with your feelings and your thoughts. And I want to go traveling, I want to go and experience life, and you did. And I suppose that shaped you in a way where you could never imagine, right?
Yeah, no, it's so true. And like a few things that you just said, I want to go back briefly. You said
Mm.
about when people say that they don't know their purpose or they don't know what they want to do. And it's so true. Like I've had many people say it to me as well. And it's okay not to know your purpose now, but it's not okay to not be in constant pursuit of it. And like there's different ways that you can do it. You can go out and try things, or you can, like you said, Lee, you can go and help other people. Like if you don't know what you want in life, surround yourself with people who do know what they want. And in return, you're more likely to figure out what you want and enjoy and like. And I've said this many a times before, and I'll say it again. I honestly believe that life is like a food buffet restaurant. Like you pay your £10, your £20, whatever it is, for the entry.
Yeah.
You can eat whatever it is that's there. So first of all,
Yeah.
you try the things that I say familiar, the things that you know that you like, you enjoy. You eat a steak or you eat fish, whatever it is. And then suddenly you might try something spicy or something from a foreign land that you've never even thought about trying.
Yeah.
But you get a result, or you get two results, really. You get, oh, I like that, or I don't like that. If you don't like it, you don't eat it again. If you do like it, you eat more and you try more things. And then you become courageous to the point you're trying weird and wonderful foods from all over the menu. And it's the same in life. Just go out there, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, try things out that you've never tried before, and you get a result. And that's where self-confidence comes from. It comes from the results that are gained from taking the uncomfortable action. So you get the result. Yes, I do like doing that, or no, I don't. If you don't like it, stop doing it. If you do like it, do more of it and push yourself constantly. So for me, yeah, you mentioned about going traveling. It was just like my soul has been calling me to do this for so long now. And I say, like, the soul does not lie, nor can it be lied to. And it'd been calling me for years, since the start of 2020, really, go traveling full time. And I let fear stop me for a long, long time. And then that calling from deep inside of me was screaming at me so loud. I had no other choice but to do it. And I said to myself, I'm not going to figure anything out. I'm not going to plan anything. I'm just going to go with it. And that gave me the best memories and the best experiences and the most strength and courage. And just internally, it's grown me so much stronger. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's so importantly to just put yourself out there and just go for it and just try things. I'm a big believer in trying things, because if you don't try, you'll never know.
And that's it. Like, there's a big disparity between nerves, for example, and fear. Fear is attached to uncertainty, without a doubt. Fear presents itself in times of when you are uncertain about something. Whether you want to go out and ask a girl on a date, you're uncertain if she's going to say yeah, for example. If you want to go into a room full of people you don't know and give a presentation, you're uncertain on how you're going to deliver this presentation. So you get that confused with fear. So uncertainty, the more uncertainty you can embrace, the better quality of life and the better results you're going to get down the line. It may not be overnight, it may not be immediate, but as you grow into your next phase of life and you embrace uncertainty, all right, you're then going to be able to embrace the challenges that are presented. And when you spend 95% of the time on solutions and 5% of the time on problems, you switch the dynamics of how you coordinate things. So if you're spending 95% on the problem and 5% on a solution, it's going to take you a very long time to get to the solution, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. And you mentioned about, say, being uncertain and the things that you're unfamiliar with or uncomfortable with. And look, if anyone was, say, 100% certain on anything in life, every single fault in the world would be fixed, because people would be like, yeah, I know I'm never gonna fail at that, so they'll just go for it. But I've learned, as well, that the magic is in the unknown. It's in the uncertainty. The magic is where your next level of life is literally buried in the center of the discomfort, of the unknown, of the uncertainty. But it's down to you and you alone to put yourself in that uncomfortable position, and then you reap the rewards by, say, putting yourself there, because so many people don't want to go there because of that fear is telling them to stop. But I said it the other day, that people look at fear as false evidence appearing real, but I flipped it. I look at it as freeze, evaluate, and reverse, or focus, evolve, and relax. Because so many people might be faced with fear and they just freeze. They think about it for so long, and then they say, nah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my little comfort zone here.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
you can focus and say, actually, no, this is what I want, but it's on the other side of fear. I need to level up my mindset, what we were talking about a minute ago. I'm going to grow mindset, and then just chill. Just know and be dead certain that things are going to unfold the way that they should.
Precisely. And the great thing about failure is feedback. Failure is a chance to get better. Most people don't take the jump for two things: the fear of failure and the opinions of others about what they're doing. Now, that's the only two reasons that I can think of why somebody wouldn't go and follow their endeavors and follow their dreams, because they fear failure, or they're too caught up in the importance of what other people think about them. The minute you can let those two go, you'll feel much more elaborated, you'll feel much more enlightened, and it's going to be much easier and less stressful to actually go. Because I failed many times. I failed a lot in 2022, but it's got me to a place where things can be better. You reevaluate, like you said, you repivot, and you get up, you go again. All right. And if you're learning from the mistakes that you've made, again, the feedback that you're going to get from certain failures, it's priceless. And like I said, with a goal, if you don't have any goals and you're literally running around the football field and you can't score, you're literally going around in circles. But the positive of having a goal is, as you work towards that goal, no matter even if you fall short, the person who you've become along that journey is going to be much better than the person you was. All right. And another thing I've realized over time is people always say to themselves they're not deserving of reaching certain levels of success that they want, or they feel unworthy, or they've been told they're unworthy by someone. And that's why it's so important to upgrade your peer group. Your peers around you are the fundamental influence of your life. And the reason I say that, Ryan, is if you have an environment of confident people, successful people, people who want to grow, it's only a matter of time before you get and conform to that environment. Conformity is always stronger than will. If you go out drinking alcohol and you're trying to stop drinking alcohol, but you're hanging around with people who love to consume alcohol, it's only a matter of time before you fall back in that spectrum again. So the environment is so paramount to how you're going to be influenced. So I would say to everyone, make sure you just check what's around you. Look at your environment, reevaluate your environment. And again, if that needs changing, you have the power to change it. It's not something that you're restricted. You've not got your hands tied. You can actually go out and prod the world and make dents in the world and mold the world on how you want to perceive that and how you want to go about your everyday life. So, that's definitely my take on that.
I love what you say there about, say, your environments, because I honestly believe that you become what you both consciously and unconsciously consistently consume. Like you mentioned there about, say, your peer group, the people that you're surrounded with, because proximity is power. We've all heard it before. You become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Mm-hmm. So think about it. You spend your time with, say, 5 millionaires, you're most likely to become the 6th. If you surround yourself with 5 alcoholics, you're most likely to become the 6th. Yeah. So make sure your peer group, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, have goals. They have visions. They're getting up every morning. They're going after what they want. They're working out. They're eating good food. They're not constantly on the beers. They're not constantly doing drugs, whatever it is. Because if you want to be like them, that's fine. But if you don't, you can't put yourself in that environment and expect to get to this level, because it's never going to happen. It's just like those crabs in a bucket, We've all heard it. We've all seen it. Crabs in a bucket. There's one of them that's brave, that's courageous, and it tries to escape. It gets to the top of the bucket. It's about to come over, and they just drag him back down to their environment. They say, no, mate, you're not going nowhere. You're staying here. Yeah. And that's exactly what it's like, right?
It is, and people don't realise that. And I'm not here to say, everyone is there to drag you down. It's levels of awareness. There's different levels of awareness. If you are exposed to something, you become more aware. If you know there's landmines under the ground, you're aware of that, right? So you probably tread a little bit careful. If you don't, you'll go run across a field and not know there's a landmine there. So my point is, there's an undivine intelligence that you start to adopt through different experiences. And some of those can come with people, and get the right people around you. And again, your self-awareness is, well, how do you know these are the right people around you? People are like, well, how do I know I've got the right people around me? 2 things. You're either growing or you're going backwards. That's how you assess that. So yeah, I mean, you know, that we could go on all night talking about influence and how you get to, you know, how you become aware, how you curate a mindset to go out and absolutely crush it. And you've just got to be a believer in what you can attain. You've got to believe. You've got to believe. You've got to believe. That is the number one ingredient. And like I said, you can do all these other bits and pieces. You can go out, you can do all these courses, you can do all these, take all this advice. Information is not hard to get. It's right in front of our faces. But if you don't apply that and implement it, it's absolutely useless. It just becomes shelf help rather than self-help, you know, and that's what I always say. You got to take action, man. You got to take action.
Oh, I love that quote. That was brilliant. Shelf help rather than self help. That's brilliant. Yeah, I say like the world is full of information and not enough implementation. Like we've got it all there at our fingertips. YouTube, Google, we've got all the social media that we need. All the information is there right in front of our eyes. But it's down to me and you, us as individuals, to say, right, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to know. And this, you applying that knowledge, learning it, and then put it into your day-to-day lives, applying it. Because applied knowledge is the key to success, you know. If it's not applied, it doesn't mean anything. Knowledge and information sat in here isn't going anywhere.
It is. And, you know, I've heard this connotation plenty of times with people. They say, oh, I just want to meet the right person. I'll just use an example, a relationship. Someone who's single or someone, they'll say, oh, I just want to meet the right person. No, the reason you haven't met the right person is because you haven't become the right person. There's more work to do. And that is, if you consider your relationships as failures, you've got to take feedback from that, because it's not a failure in the long term. That is feedback for the short term that's going to serve you in the long term. So you need to figure out, okay, well, this didn't work out. How could I be better? Because, hey, if you're putting value in yourself and if you're investing in yourself and you're growing in yourself, you're going to start to attract people who see that. You're going to start to attract people with the same mindset as you. All right. Because it's the world is a mirror. People get angry at the mirror, but the mirror, it's not the mirror's fault because it only reflects what it sees. Okay. If you turn up to the mirror wearing a red suit, that's going to reflect that back. If you turn up in a blue suit, and that's same as the world. However you perceive the world, if you perceive the world as bad, if you perceive the world as negative, a cruel place, that is what the world's going to give you. If you perceive the world as beautiful, abundant, prosperous, opportunistic, you love life, you love the world, it's going to repel that back onto you. So just wake up in the morning and say, how can I enjoy the journey? Because like I said, it's going to serve you a lot better. And why make it hard for yourself? Why put stress on yourself? You know, with all these connotations about the world being an evil place and all this kind of rubbish. I think you're just digging yourself a deep hole there. I mean, wake up and say life's beautiful. Yeah, if your relationship's failed, okay, take that on board as feedback for the next one. If your career failed, okay, feedback. How can I repivot? Where do I go? You know, and a lot of people, as soon as they fail, they throw their hands in the air like, oh, I'm done, that's it, I'm a failure. No, take it as feedback, reassess, repivot, and go again.
Yeah, man, it's so true. And like when I find myself in a difficult situation or up with a challenge or something's gone really wrong or I failed at something, and anyone can use this as well. When you find yourselves in those situations, ask yourself these questions. What is this difficult situation trying to teach me? And what can I learn from it? Because like you mentioned there, your perception will literally shape your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, the whole universe is 6 inches wide. From here to here, 6 inches. In here is your unique universe, how you see and perceive the world. Because how I see the world is completely different to how you see it, Lee. How everybody else is watching sees it. We all see it in a completely different way, or even just a slightly different way. Like you look at a police statement, for instance, everyone gets something slightly different because we all see it in a different way, in a different time frame, in a different perception. So if you can train yourself to look for the good in every situation rather than going for the negative, because our brains are naturally negativity biased, where we just want to instantly go to the negative things. But I found myself in that really bad shitstorm once when I was depressed, and I looked for the negatives. I was just constantly seeking out negatives. Like, it was the mirror. I was a shit magnet. I just attracted all the shit to me because all my mind in here was just shit after shit after shit, and I was just bringing that into my life.
Yeah.
But the reason why that changed is because I stopped counting my problems and I started to count my blessings. And you mentioned it there. I
Love that.
literally, when I was really depressed, I woke up every single morning and I just screamed the words, fuck you. And then I replaced it one day with thank you. And since that day, I just started to attract the good stuff into my life. Honestly, that isn't even a word of a lie. So every single day I wake up now, I just open my eyes, boom, and I just say thank you to myself, to the universe, to whatever it is. I just say thank you, because being gifted another day is the ultimate gift of life.
It is, and I mean, I've had a lot of conversations about this. If you get up and you don't depend on habits, don't depend on discipline, these are just words that people have learned. All right, adopt something as culture. When you adopt something as culture, it becomes autonomous. It's part of you. It's part of your little realm. So if you wake up in the morning, you know, you're grateful. It puts you in a state of thankfulness and being thankful for everything. So you're more likely to run out feeling better. So when you feel better, you attract better. When you attract better, it grows your confidence. If you wake up and you stick on Jeremy Kyle and you go and have a fried breakfast and you lounge around all day, and you know you're wasting sort of half your day doing nothing, and you're not surrounded by positive people, you are going to feel a certain way, right? Compared to if you're getting up, you're going out for a walk, you're getting fresh air, you keep productive, you keep busy, it's going to be a totally different feeling. So, you know, the next time people feel down or emotionally drained, just take a look around you and see what you can start doing to improve how you feel. Because again, a feeling is just a feeling. You can either feel good or you can feel worse. You can choose that by the actions that you portray. So if you are feeling tired, for example, and you stand up and you take a big breath and you move around a little, it shakes the tiredness off. So, you know, as you like, Tony Robbins says this, motion creates emotion, and it's so powerful. Whatever emotion you're going through, that is going to curate your emotion for the day. So emotional states can always be changed.
Yeah, man. And I just say to anyone, like anyone finding themselves in a bit of a shitty situation where they're just overthinking and they don't know what to do, the first thing is, like you say, motion. Get up, get out, go for a walk, get some fresh air, just breathe it all in and just try and clear those thoughts out of your mind. It won't happen straight away, but get some really good fresh air in your lungs. Honestly, get back to your house, wherever you're staying, sit down, quiet room, pen and paper, and just write down exactly how you're feeling. Because so many people get stressed up in their head, but then they carry on doing that same thing over and over again. And we mentioned it at the start, like what got you here will never get you there. Because if nothing changes, then nothing changes.
Exactly, and that's the thing that people have to come to terms with. If you're getting the same results and you're not taking a different approach, you're literally on a hamster wheel of life. And I find that a lot of the time that people are looking for that validation. People are looking for acceptance. Now, the problem with that, and you know, we've all done it. I did it when I was a young kid. It was just, thank God I had a great mentor who really taught me about the fundamentals and how to grow your confidence and how to think outside the box a little bit and be creative. If you're constantly looking for people's validation, people's approval to feel significant, I'm going to just break it down to you right now and ruin the party. You're literally on a hamster wheel, or if you don't know what a hamster wheel is, you're on a treadmill to nowhere, because not everybody is going to approve of you. Not everybody is going to give you the validation that you are seeking if you don't validate yourself. So being on that greyhound track, chasing after that white rabbit on the greyhound track that is designed not to be caught, but just to keep the dogs on the track, That is what it's like when people are going out there looking for validation, whether they want convincing that they should follow their goal, whether they want a sense of significance. You know, go and do it because you want to do it. Don't do it for the Instagram. Don't do it for social media. Don't do it because you think that someone will approve of you if you go out and do that. Do it because you want to do it from your feeling in your heart. And that's the way you're going to get fulfillment. You know, that's the way you're going to feel fulfilled. I mean, a lot of the time, if you're going out there, again, trying to magnetize that significance, you meet the next person who doesn't approve of it, then where do you go? You drop back down to the level where you started. And like I said, remember at the beginning of the call where I said you can never rise above the opinion of yourself. If your opinion of yourself is low, you're never going to break through that glass ceiling.
Yeah, man, I like to say, know your worth. Because if you don't know your own worth, someone else will decide your value, and that'll be a lot less than what you're actually worth. So know your worth in life, and don't look for the approval or the opinions or confirmation from other people. Because, again, like you say, Lee, every single person is different. So the wrong people, they won't see what you're actually worth, but the right people will. Like, I honestly say that the right people will accept you for who you are at that time in the moment, but the wrong people, they'll never care about you. Like, the wrong people will think you're absolutely shit, even when you know you're at your very best. But the right people will think you're an absolute gem, even when you know you're at your very worst. So it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people, but never go out there looking for validation or confirmation, because everybody is different. So you need to validate yourself. If you got something in here, or you keep talking about doing something, or you just got a feeling inside, like I had about the travel, if your gut or your soul is screaming to you to do something, take that as the green light to say, right, I'm going for it, and I'm not going to let nobody stop me.
Look, and like you said, Ryan, about the whole validation thing, a lot of the time people turn up certain places and they're worried about what people think of them, whether that's just walking in a restaurant, whether that's just going to a party, whether that's just turning up to an event, or even getting on stage to speak. A lot of people are worried about what people think about them. And people have to let that go, because what they don't realize is while you're worried about what they think of you, they are also worried about what you think of them. So it never materializes in how you think it's going to go, because everybody's in their own little bubble of importance. So, I mean, that's one thing that people shouldn't worry about. You shouldn't worry about what other people think of you, because they're also worrying about what you think of them anyway. So, you know, I think if that's something that's stopping people going out and reaching their heights and going on their endeavors, then they should absolutely throw that out the window right now. While this call's going, make a pact with yourself. Say, look, I'm not going to care about other people's opinions, and they're not going to govern what I go out and do and achieve. So, in a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, listen, some people don't even care about themselves. So why were they going to care about you? So, yeah, it's so important. So, Lee, I just want to move on briefly.
Absolutely.
And I want to ask you, again, the question a little bit about the boxing, just for a few minutes about boxing. So the question, Lee, really would be, what does it take to, say, be in a ring with someone, you know you're going fist to fist with another guy, you're going to be smashing each other in the face and in the body, you know you're going to get hurt, but what is it that you do, Lee, or what mindset do you have to have in order to go into that ring in the first place? But then whilst you're in the ring, what do you have to have going through your mind to say, no, I will get back up when I get knocked down, or I will keep moving forward when I get punched in the face? Talk to us about that mindset, my friend.
Look, you can't go out in the rain and not get wet, all right? You got to understand that. That's the first thing you got to understand. And sometimes life, you know, gives you an umbrella when it's sunny and then takes it away when it's raining. And as long as you're comfortable with that, and as long as you're living your purpose, it's all right. It's fine, you know? And at times it's just like life. You got to dig deep. And dependent on how deep the wound is, like I said, you've got to love, love, like they always say, love drives out darkness. And if you love something so much, you're willing to go through the pain. It's like you've got to give credit to women when they give birth, because that must be excruciating. So if they do that, and come out the other end, and the gift of a child, it's always worth the pain and the rough. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got to understand that life is going to maybe take the umbrella away when it's raining. And yeah, just like I said, enjoy the journey, because when you wake up the next day and you have the sense of winning, and that's your little success in your head and your realm and your bubble, it's all worth it. So like I said, with anything, business, career, school, college, university, you're always going to go through a rough patch. And like I said on the beginning of the call, nothing is ever linear. You're always going to get challenges. You're always going to invite a few barriers, but they come to test you. They come to help you grow. And as long as you know you're growing and you are moving through the ranks, again, everybody's ranks are different. Everybody wants different things in life. Everybody wants something different out of life. But as long as you know deep down what you want and you're working towards that, then life is beautiful in itself, bro.
Wow, man, that was lovely. And no, honestly, Lee, like setbacks, really, I look at setbacks as setups for comebacks. So
Yeah,
look at in your life, if you ever go through a challenge or a difficult situation, just remember that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Because you mentioned it as well about if you know where you're going, you're more willing or willingly, if you know where you're going, you're more willingly likely to be able to push through the pain because you know where you're going in life. Like I made a quote and it says this: the moment you realize the pain of staying the same exceeds the pain of change is the exact moment your actions will overcome your anxieties. Because we get so scared of, say, pushing through that barrier to our next level of life. But you know that the next version of you, or that better version, or the better life is on that other side of that barrier. You've just got to push through it. So what you said there is so, so important. And I agree with everything you said, my friend.
yeah. Thank you, boss. I know that a lot of people aren't even aware about their subconscious thinking. Your subconscious thinking is when you're asleep, you're digesting the food that you ate a few hours before, you're breathing. How are you doing all this? Because apparently consciously, you're not in control when you're sleeping. You don't know, anything could happen to you, right? So when you learn to govern your subconscious mind on a day-to-day basis, a lot of the things you're doing are habitual. They're habitual learned traits. Now, that is a learned behavior. Like being a winner is a learned behavior. It's a learned mechanism. If you have and adopt the mentality of a winner, no matter how rough, all right, how much of a setback you get, how many umbrellas are taken off you when it's raining, you'll always come back, because your identity is linked to the connotation of being a winner. So you're always gonna come through triumph. You're always gonna come through the war zone, and it's that moment when that makes the difference between two different individuals. They have the same, and like I said, one thing in boxing, if you want to relate it to a sport, if you're in a ring with someone, they can clearly fight. If you're fighting at a professional level, they can clearly fight. They're clearly intelligent. They're clearly powerful. They're clearly strong. They're clearly tough. But what's going to separate the two fighters? You're both the same. It's just the mindset. So in life, if you've got two people doing the same thing or in the same job with the same skills, why is one thriving and one going backwards? So when you bring that into light, it grows your self-awareness.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's so important. The mindset is so, so important. So, Lee, as we're sort of wrapping this up now, my friend,
Mm.
I have 5 quick fire questions that I'd like to ask
Yeah,
you. So, if it's okay with you, we can crack on and we can get started, my friend.
bro, I'm here. I'm here and I'm enjoying the journey. So let's go, man.
Let's go. 5 quick questions. So, the first one is, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received and why?
The best advice I've ever received is be true to yourself, because being true to yourself makes you authentic, and people gravitate towards authenticity, whether they believe they do or they don't. They do.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like you can almost smell authenticity, right? Like you can spot it from a mile off. So
100%.
yeah, that's so important. So what would you say to maybe anyone that's, because I felt it before in my life, like especially when I first started putting out content, I wasn't being my true authentic self. Like I wasn't swearing at all. Like I was just trying to change my voice so people could understand me more. Now I'm just like, fuck it. If people can't hear me or understand me, just message me or write a shitty comment. I'm not bothered. So someone that's
Yeah.
say listening this now and they know they're not being their true authentic self because of maybe fear, for instance, what could you say to them?
Say, give yourself a good long think, and think, are you doing it again to be validated? Because all you're doing is bringing the wrong crowd around you anyway. When you're authentic, the right people at the right time you'll be presented with them. So that's all there is to it. You can go out and just be yourself. The right people and the right relationships will manifest 100%. I guarantee you that. If it's one thing that someone can take away from this call today, nothing technical. We're not here to get technical about anything. We're just talking about our experiences. Just go out and just be yourself. People will love you for who you are, because the sad bit about life is sometimes not many people get to see the real you, and they may love the real you. They may love the real you, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Another quote of mine I made says, "We're all born ourselves, but most die someone else."
Yeah.
Like, we're just born ourselves, but so many people go to the grave and they put on this mask or this character that they've been living for all this life to try and make someone else happy. Be yourself always, because there's only one of you, and there'll only ever be one of you. There'll never be another one of you, mate. So just be yourself and show the world who you are. So, Lee, second question.
That's the thing. Sorry, that's the thing.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
You're made unique. If you can show me two of anything, I'll eat what I've just said. If you can show me two blades of grass the same, if you can show me two leaves the same, it doesn't exist, because you're all made unique. You are good enough. You're unique. There's not two of you on this planet, so you can't be anyone else. You just got to be yourself.
Be yourself, because everyone else is taken. So just be yourself. Don't worry about anyone else. So, Lee, second question, my friend. Thank you. And the second one is, what is the worst? No, what is the? Sorry, I almost said the same one again. What is the worst piece of advice that you have ever received and acted on, and what was the result?
The worst piece of advice that I was given was, oh, you put me on the spot there. That you should be okay with low standards. I think that was one of the worst bits of advice, because having high standards prevents you from getting into low quality circumstances. And I think when you hold your standards high, you've got certain boundaries that you abide by for your own well-being. And I think that's important, Ryan. I think that's definitely important. It's okay to say no now and again to certain things that are not going to serve someone else in the best light or serve yourself in the best light. And I think a lot of the time people are having their own well-being and being detrimental to their own well-being for the sake of having to keep their standards low. That's not true. You should definitely keep your standards high at all times.
Yeah, like you just mentioned there about having the standards and saying no, man, it's so important. When I set myself standards, my whole life changed, because one of the most powerful words that you'll ever say is the word no. Because by saying no to someone else, you're actually saying yes to yourself. You need to set yourself standards, because if you don't, you're just going to drop and drop and drop, and you're just going to be giving away your time so freely to everybody else. Yes, 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 yes. You're never going to have that time for yourself to do the things that you want to do. So you need to set yourself standards and do not go below those standards, whatever you do. So if you find yourself questioning, should I do this or should I do that, or should I help that person, or should I do this, what that person wants me to do? Just ask yourself the question, Is it getting me closer to or further away from my goal?
Exactly. And it's like that when you message me about, you know, one of your goals was to do a live with me this year. You know, we've got it done, and that was your little journey. And what a great way to start. And not just because you've got me on a live. It's just for the fact you've fulfilled and ticked off a goal, a little goal of your own there. So, you know, that is elaborating in itself.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was one of my goals. It was on my list, so I've got a little tick there. So after this, it'll get swiped off, then it'll be the next person. So
Good.
we need to have goals. Like all we've been talking about is goals, and it's so important as well to celebrate the mini milestones along the way. So Lee, next question would be, what was the main thing that you had to unlearn throughout your childhood or growing up?
I had to unlearn to be logical. I had to learn, then replace that with creativity. Logic was only getting you so far with certain things. When you come from a creative standpoint, you know, the world's your oyster. And I think anyone out there, if you're always questioning, you know, being logical and too much of a left brainer, you miss out a lot of the time on the creative side that you have. And I think that's definitely something that I've had to unlearn and then relearn and be creative and be you use your imagination. And like you said, Ryan, when you think of something, you have you know, two elements to that, whereas you think it and then you have the reality as well. So, you know, it's only 6 inches here, which is logic, and then, you know, the universe is the creative side.
Yeah, man, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, Lee, about how every single thing that has ever been created has been created twice, once in the mind and once in reality as well. So
Yes.
next question, my friend, would be, what was the greatest lesson that you learned from your most painful life experience?
I learned that when I first moved out of my family home, I could have given all the excuses. Oh, I weren't ready. I didn't have this ready. I didn't have that ready. You know, you were scared. You didn't know how to do anything at a young age. But I remember, I think it was one of the Roman empires or Caesar, when he got to the island, he turned all his soldiers around on the cliffs and he had all the boats burned. And he said, and one of the soldiers said, "What are you doing, Caesar?" He goes, "I'm burning the fucking boats. So we have to take over this island. There's no going back." And I think that's the biggest life lesson for me. You get on the boat and you go. You can sit there, you know, questioning, is the sea going to be rough? Is there sharks in the water? Is there going to be a storm? Is there going to be a hurricane? You never know till you get out on the boat. You never know. So you've got to push the boat out, as they say.
Yeah, and again, like we said earlier, it's about trying things. And like the analogy that I use is, say, for instance, just live your life in the headlights. So you set your GPS and then you live your life in the headlights. So what does that mean? So about goal setting, GPS, we all know what a GPS is, or a sat nav. GPS stands for goal, plan, see. So you begin with the end in mind. You set your destination. Because all that journey takes is 2 pinpoint locations, where you currently are and where you want to be. So you set your destination where you're going. So that's your goal. Plan is the middle part, but the plan is flexible because you don't know what's going to come up along the way. And then see, visualize it in your own mind and see that where you want to go every single step of the journey, but live your life in the headlights, which means when you're driving at night and it's dark, you have your headlights on. You can't see your destination, but you can see, 1 or 2 cars in front of you, and you just keep moving forward. You can't see round the bends. You don't know if there's going to be a roadblock, a red light, or a wrong turn around the corner, but you just keep going because any obstacle that you're faced with, you know you've got the end vision, the end goal. You know where you're going. So having that, say, destination or that goal set, it's going to divert you and it's going to take you there in the end anyway.
Exactly. It's going to move you forward. And like I said, the most important thing anyone will take from setting a goal is you're going to grow on that journey without a doubt.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much. So the last question, we're here to the last question now. So
Fantastic.
the last question is, knowing what you know now, what one piece of advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
go for everything, go for every opportunity, because you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you're going to become more self-aware. That's definitely what I tell myself. And if I was to go back at 20-year-old, when I was 20 years old, I would definitely give myself that advice.
Brilliant, man. Lee, thank you so much, my friend, for coming on. I really enjoyed this episode. So many people were here, had all the comments as well. So everybody that's listened, thank you so much. Lee, for anyone that has listened and has been positively affected by your amazing words today, they want to say follow your journey, find out more about you, what's the best way that somebody could say follow your journey, just keep an eye on you, or to contact with you, reach out to you?
Yeah, if something's resonated with someone, or it's added a little bit of value to your life, for sure, just get them to reach out and follow me on Instagram. I put a little bit of content on there, and I'm sure if it's meant to be, we'll probably bump into each other either on the socials or out and about somewhere. You never know. So it's a small world, like they say, after all. You never know. You never know who you're going to bump into. So absolutely, reach out. Feel free.
Amazing. Lee, thank you so much. Everybody, you heard it there. If you want to speak to Lee, reach out to him. But yeah, no, if anyone wants to watch this back, because I just saw a comment, I'm going to stick it on my IGTV now, and it'll be there forever. So if you missed it, go back and watch it. If not, keep an eye out for the future. I'm going to cut this up and I'll get the best bits, and you'll see it all over social media. So Lee, thank you so much, my friend. Everybody, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you on the next one, people.
Pleasure, Ryan. You take care and keep up the great work you're doing, brother. Really appreciate it. And drop me a message sometime. It'd be great to catch up again and have a coffee this time on the next meet.
I will do, Lee. Thank you, my friend. Speak to you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye,
Adios.
everybody.